truth as our authority. And that is getting to the understanding of how natural law functions. I can't continue to say that enough. The great researcher David Icke, this is one of his less known quotations in one of his earlier books, but it's brilliant. He says, accept responsibility for yourself and your actions, thoughts, and words. You alone make choices. You alone are answerable to the consequences of your behavior. The feeble excuse that your boss required it, the establishment expected it, holds no truth or justification. What is the point of even having principles if you allow others to dictate your behavior? That's abdication of personal responsibility. At the end of the day, you will judge your performance and the contribution that you made to creation. It will not be based on what another expected of you or what you did because you felt trapped. This is a big justification. Oh, I had no other choice. Oh, I had to do it for the money. Oh, I had to provide for my family. Oh, I needed the education. On and on and on and on. Endless justifications for immorality, for immoral behavior, for following the dictates of psychopathic madmen. Gandhi, perhaps, put it even in a more enlightening way. You assist an evil system most effectively by obeying its orders and decrees. An evil system never deserves such allegiance. Allegiance to it means partaking of the evil. A good person will resist an evil system with his or her whole soul. Let it sink in. Slide number 20, let it sink in. Read it over and over and over again if you have to. That's enlightenment. That's enlightenment. He understood it's more about what you are, it's more about what you need to stop doing. What you need to stop doing, the negative, the negation. That's what it's more about. It's more about pulling back and refusing to comply, refusing to obey orders and decrees of the system that is there for enslavement. It's so much less about new things we need to do. We need to stop doing things we're already doing that are immoral, that are unethical, that are false, that are not true, that are not based in principle. That's something that this great man understood more than almost everybody. Because through the abdication of free will and personal responsibility, that's how this evil system of domination that is depicted in slides 21, 22, and 23 is going to ultimately create their dark New World Order, which is a prison planet, which is a prison society. Only through abdication of free will and personal responsibility can that ever happen. And think about what that means, ladies and gentlemen. That means all of their power is coming from the people who they enslave. They are granting it to these psychopathic controllers through abdicating their free will. And that abdication only leads to one place.
Police officers.
And you can see that symbolically in image number 23.
Military.
That has been locked by the masters.
Professors.
As we stated last week and the week before, ultimately, living in harmony with natural law and its principles leads only to peace, freedom, prosperity, survival, and evolutionary progress. While living in opposition to natural law only ever leads to control, enslavement, poverty, war, evolutionary stagnation in consciousness, and ultimately extinction of a species. And that is the bottom line. Those statements are true eternally and are never going to work any other way. That's how natural law functions, in a nutshell. Those two slides, that's it. That's what you need to know. You want progress, you want prosperity, you want to survive, you want to grow, you want to evolve. You have to understand and live in harmony with natural law, period, the end. You want to ignore that and think you're going to prosper, the joke's on you. The joke's on you. Because living in opposition to all of those principles only leads to one place, and that's death. And this can be symbolically seen, this dichotomy can be symbolically seen in the painting by Alex Gray on slide number 26, which is called Gaia, the spirit of the earth. What's ultimately happening here? It's a choice. It's a choice between understanding the laws of nature or continuing to go along with man's insanity and control freak system. And I think it's very clear which side of the tree depicts which mental condition. Francis Bacon, former Grand Master of the Order of the Rose Croix, the Rose Cross, otherwise known as the Rosicrucian Order, in the early 1600s, said that nature, to be commanded, must first be obeyed. We have to know what nature's laws are and willingly choose to operate in compliance with them, in harmony with them. Otherwise, nothing but suffering is ever going to be created, and we're certainly not going to be able to command any of nature's functions. Max Heindel, another Rosicrucian philosopher, said that the best way to learn the secrets of nature is not by inventing instruments, but by improving the investigator himself. David Icke said, at its foundation, any guide to freedom needs a thorough knowledge of why and how that freedom has been removed in the first place. Without that, there can be no answers. And I would say, without that knowledge of why and how we're in this situation, through our abdication of personal responsibility and free will, there can be no solutions. Finally, Alfred Adler said, there is a law that man should love his neighbor as himself. In a few hundred years, it should be as natural to mankind as breathing or the upright gait. But if he does not learn it, he must perish. The golden rule is the ultimate law. We'll see you next week on What on Earth is Happening. Take care, folks.
I couldn't have said it better myself. What do you think, Kitty? You having a good day? Yep. Me too. Well, like I was saying earlier, I guess this will be part 2 of that other video. That's the kind of stuff you can hear on 94.3 in Elgin, Texas. Believe it or not, there's actually some real talk radio out there. So let's see how deep we got this here. It's a couple feet deep right now, and my goal is to keep on going all the way down. I'm doing what a dozer had a problem doing years ago. It was too dry. So I've been running water on this for about a week with my ram pump coming from the well. And it's been soaking into this sandy clay. Look at this clay. Check it out. It's got red, lignite. In Elgin we have brickyards and stuff, so, and look at this. This is like water sand almost. See those veins of sand? That's what comes out. That looks like water sand almost, but it doesn't have the salt and pepper. That's what's making it easier to dig a little bit right now, because that sand will keep that shovel, that clay off that shovel, and that's the biggest problem digging in clay like this. It's the sand, and yeah, I'm exhausted. I've been doing this for about 3 hours straight right now. But I can handle it. That's what everybody that's out of shape needs to be doing. Just start digging a hole. Get out of your house. Put down those pieces of plastic. Stop touching them. You're literally just touching plastic and clicking your life away. Look at those ducks. I inherited some ducks in 2008. It's 2011 right now, because everybody else's ponds were going dry, and thank God I spent the money and time to dig this one here. It's okay, ducks, because they wouldn't have a habitat without it. Also drilled a well by hand. And that's where this water's coming from. And just in case you're afraid that the water source is going to run out, Google Carrizo Wilcox and look at how many formations it has under Texas. Carrizo Wilcox. Starts with a C, I'm pretty sure. And I think I'm saying that correct. Carrizo Wilcox. But that's where this water's coming from. There's more water below the ground around here than there is above, and that's an understatement. Because I know for a fact that Alcoa is pumping out close to 6,000 to 3,000 gallons a minute on a friend of mine's property. And so I don't feel bad about building this habitat, you know, pumping out what, that's a gallon per minute right there, so at the most, and that's coming from a ram pump. So I'm making progress. It's a lot of work. Yeah, don't forget to check out 94.3 in Elgin. That's one of the best radio stations you'll find around here. Too bad it's low power, not high power. It should cover the United States, which it technically does if you go to the website lonestarlegend.com. So just go to lonestarlegend.com and you can hear what you just heard. And every now and then you'll hear me on the mic. I'm going to start doing a show pretty soon. And the show's going to be based around the power of water, believe it or not. Because without the water, I would have never been able to dig through this hard clay. We've been in a biblical drought here in Texas. I mean, look at how dry and hard this is. It's literally so hard. The dozer was trying to dig this tank out the rest of the way a couple years ago and broke a ripper off the back of the dozer. This clay is so hard. So it actually ripped the ripper off. It snapped it. The clay's so hard. So this water is really helping me out a lot. So I'm working with the water. And it's going to be experimental science with water. And I'll be referencing other YouTube channels and websites and ram pumps, airlift, reverse ram pumps, which work off the concept of falling water, and the air in the water you can make compressed air with it, so you can do the reverse process. Just the same concept, a reaction equal opposite reaction concept. Right, kitty? So anyway, I was just kind of wanting to show you what I've been doing. And I've also been editing and producing a syndicated radio show called The Poor Man Show, which he's covering the Occupy Wall Street people. Well, basically the radio voice for the people that are pissed off with what's going on in this world, in the United States. The fact that our politicians, not my politicians, but somebody's politicians, are selling them out. I vote with my dollar locally. I don't vote every 4 years anymore for somebody who's going to take my rights and liberties away and tax me with their slave taxes to death. I choose not to participate in a flawed system that's enforced by guns, and all the laws that they create are reinforced by negative force, which is violence and guns and killing and all those fun things that are there to help you. They're love bombs. So I don't promote love bombs and bombing other countries for no reason. And if you look at 9/11, it didn't actually happen the way we were told on television. So just remember this: every lie takes another lie to keep it propped up. So if 9/11 was not the truth and was based around a lie, that means everything that was, all this legislation that Mann's Law came up with after 9/11 was based around a lie. And it rips the foundation out from underneath all this TSA garbage, the Freedom Act. I'm so exhausted I can't even think right now. All the gun laws that they've passed. Oh, take your shoes off, can't have shampoo on an airplane, and we're free in this country now. Look, I would suggest go watch Loose Change. Google Loose Change if you haven't already, and watch what really happened on 9/11. And once you realize that the people weren't told the truth about 9/11, and every other law that was passed after that was because the terrorists were going to get us, you might realize who the real terrorists are and stop participating in that system that keeps those terrorists propped up. So that's my rant, and I'm sticking to it. And any law that's legislated behind, with there's force behind that law, is a failed law, and it will not exist in time. It will always fail. But I guarantee you one thing, the power of water is a law that's always going to be there. So check out Pyramid Ram Pumps. Go to 94.3 if you're around Elgin and listen to it on the radio. Go to LoneStarLegend.com, and that's what the 94.3 is running right now. So if you hear anything in Elgin on 94.3, it comes from the Lone Star Legend, which is my own little radio network that I'm building. So with the help of me, myself, and I, and my cat. So anyway, this video is getting long, but look, those ducks are pretty happy. Just in case you're wondering what they're doing over there, I throw out sunflower seeds for them every day, and they're picking up what they missed this morning. All right, that's enough for this video. OrganicMike.com. Subscribe if you like.